Will talent win, or will controlled madness win? That's what a lot of people thought after the match in Roland Garros between Alexander Bublik and Jack Draper. It's a good question. To find a player who is both smart and crazy at the same time, look no further than Bublik. The win wasn't just a surprise to people who looked at the rankings or knew that Draper liked one candidate over another. It was a great example of how small things, the present moment and the mind, can still decide big matches in tennis today. Jack Draper came from a strong line of people. It's one of the most reliable young players on the tour, with strong pulls, well-timed hits, and the ability to play without big swings. It was likely to pass. But Bublik, as usual, didn't go into court to do what was expected of him. It was clear from the beginning games that Bublik had a plan: to break Draper's flow. The British were always worried by the sudden theft and shorts with changing speeds and effects. Even better, Bublik didn't go overboard with the strange things he did. He was loose, but he was also serious. It made all the difference that the risky decisions were made at just the right times, almost like surgery. Bublik played a controlled but risky shoe. A pair of shoes that hadn't been seen in a while, and his game was getting better all the time. He knew just the right amount of confidence to give. As a result, focus play from point to point led to a win that broke Draper's streak of consistency, shook the Briton's mind, and made the game tough for Draper to handle. The tears and cheers of a crazy crowd after the win were stressful. You know, there are times when we only have one chance in life. I felt like it was mine today, and I couldn't let it go. This is the best time of my life. So, I want to know if those of you who watched the game were surprised by how mature Bublik was. I want to know how you saw this match in the comments. With this win, Bublik has made it to the quarterfinals of Roland Garros, which is a first for him, and especially true since clay has never been his best surface. Bublik is a quick block expert who likes to answer the points with few exchanges. This is how the circuit meets him. But he did a great job of adapting to the clay in Paris. He was patient enough to score points and smart enough to know when to use his creative tools. In the meantime, the tournament keeps going and gives us more interesting parts. Novak Djokovic, for instance, has been showing again why he is one of the biggest people in history. Djokovic found a way to play the good old sneakers and move forward even when he wasn't at the top of his game. It's been said before, Djokovic doesn't have to play your best to win. He needs to play more, and what he does play is well above average. He is now back in the quarterfinals of Roland Garros, where he is trying to add to his record number of Grand Slam wins. It's interesting to think about while we talk about Bublik. Djokovic, on the other hand, has the exact opposite style. While Bublik likes and dislikes how unpredictable he is, Djokovic is the master of control, accuracy, and mental stability. One shows managed chaos, and the other shows perfect order. And then there's the thought, what style rules in tennis? Today, the genius's bravery or the cold regularity? It's good to remember that creativity can still happen on good days, as Bublik says. But Djokovic is still live proof that in the long run, control almost always wins. Carlos Alcaraz is another name that comes to mind when we talk about young stars and different styles. After winning the Monte Carlo and Rome Masters, the Spaniard came to Paris with a lot of hopes, and Alcaraz has been giving really good answers. In the first games, he showed what made him so special. A lot of different scams, physical explosions, and most of all, an amazing ability to respond. His attack and defense are both very good, and he can change heights, speeds, and beats. A new, active sneaker that needs the toughest opponents. So far, Alcaraz has made his case with authority and a silly thought. Besides being fair play, he is also amazing. Young, but with a great mind, honest, a winner, and calm, which is impressive for someone his age. In contrast to Bublik, Alcaraz has both the ability to be original and the ability to be consistent. He is mean, but he does things the right way. It is bold, but not out of hand. And maybe that's why it's thought to be the favorite to beat Roland Garros. Do you think Alcaraz will win Roland Garros? Write what you think here. Who do you think will be the big name of this new generation? Andrei Rublev is another name. That should be talked about. Heavy shots from the baseline and a tough game on the court are what the Russian is known for. Not only has Rublev improved his game at Roland Garros, but he has also improved his mind. For example, his most recent win was a great example of how mature he has become. Going back to Bublik, this win over Draper showed us a player who, for one day, knew how to balance being smart and mature. A player who didn't give up his traits, like being brave and improvising, but also knew how to treat the game, the moment, and his opponent with respect. That may be what makes tennis so interesting. You can't just win one way. There are different styles and ways to play the game. Some people, like Djokovic, win by being very disciplined. There are others, like Bublik, who are very creative. Of those, Alcaraz seems to have found a way to make the best of both worlds work together. There's no doubt that Roland Garros is giving us a great tennis class this year in a number of different ways. The sport's future is coming down to a straight line between tough seniors and brave young people. What do you think? After seeing these matches, do you think tennis will continue to recognize consistency, or that there is even room for silly geniuses like Bublik? Leave a comment, telling us which style of play you like best, complete control or creative risk-taking. I really need to know what you think. In the next film, we'll see each other.